And we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet, a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. And we're focused on Star Trek Discovery's 10th episode, The Red Angel. And I'm joined by Fathery. Hello.
Howdy.
Howdy there. All the way from Texas.
Yep.
Actually, that's not too far from where I am. The future site, the Zindi Gash. There's going to be a lot of destruction in Florida. And
yeah. You're going to get blown up in the 22nd century.
Yeah, it's true.
I love that the Enterprise writers were trying to decide where should they blow up on Earth, and someone finally was like, they should blow up Florida.
It's terrible.
Have you seen the Florida Man meme that's been going around social media?
Yes, and I put my birth in, and it was Florida man apprehended naked with a gun in an airport.
Mine was Florida man sexually assaulted washing machine at laundromat. The hell are y'all doing in Florida?
Oh, Florida man. Florida man's been a joke long before the meme. But I'm really happy the meme came out. That's pretty exciting. So yeah, we're here to talk about the episode Red Angel. I offer you the chance to do the summary if you would like to. You did a job under 6 minutes. Last, if you're prepared, you can do it. Otherwise, I'll give it a crack.
I just summarized it for my podcast, but
oh, sweet. Maybe. So you do the same. Oh, we could do one of those. Audience, pause this video, go listen to the summary, and then come back. But I think we should give at least like a 2 minute.
Okay, let me see if I can do it in 2 minutes. I normally have like the warp speed summary where I get it done in 6 minutes. This will be like a trans warp.
Oh, I love it.
Not quite like Slipstream, but still faster than warp speed. So we start the episode off with Ariam's funeral. Everyone's sad that she died in the last week's episode, but Tilly has discovered the bio-neural readings of the Red Angel and some of the data she's been going through. It appears to be a perfect match for Michael Burnham. So they believe Michael Burnham is the Red Angel, and they decided that the best place to get answers is to find the Red Angel. Giorgio and Leyland of Section 31 show up, and they offer even more explanation. It turns out that the Red Angel is part of a Section 31 project called Project Daedalus. It was an attempt to create a time-traveling angel suit that you wear and can travel through time in micro wormholes. This was actually something that, surprise, surprise, Michael Burnham's parents worked on. They were secretly Section 31 operative researchers, and the Klingons who killed them were actually trying to get their time crystal that they needed to make the Daedalus suit work. So we find out that's why Leyland felt responsible for the deaths of Burnham's parents. Burnham is relieved. She's also angry at him and punches him around a little bit. Her and Spock have a heart-to-heart conversation after it, though, and it seems like they're finally going to get past their frustrations with each other and come back together as like a healthy brother-sister relationship. They decide to capture the Red Angel. They need to put Burnham's life in danger. They think that if they're going to kill Burnham, her future self will be forced to come back in time and prevent that. That's why sometimes the Red Angel shows up whenever Burnham is present or in danger. They go to one of the Red Angel, or one of the Project Daedalus testing sites, Esau 4, a planet with a toxic atmosphere. They can use a plasma reactor there to power their phase discriminators that they need to capture the Red Angel. They put Burnham on like a torture chair in the middle of this facility and expose her to this toxic environment. And as she's like gasping for air and getting like burnt by acid rain and seemingly dies, her heartbeat flatlines.
I think she actually dies.
Yeah, the Red Angel appears, revives her with some type of energy beam, and they use their phase discriminators like capture the Red Angel with like Ghostbuster beams that like shoot up and like wrap around her and contain her. They put up a containment field around her. While that's going on, it looks like on the Section 31 ship, something stabs Leyland in the eye, and we don't know if it kills him. We don't know if it like replaces him. What is going on there? But it looks like the control AI might still be active. Cut back down to the planet. The Red Angel is unmasked, and what the hell? The Red Angel is not a future Michael Burnham. It is her mother. And that's the end.
That's it. That's very good. That was like awesome, and you did it in 2 minutes. It was very good.
I think
it shows that
it might have been closer to 3 or 4 minutes.
Was it? Okay, fine.
But you know, it shows that it can't be done. There's not a lot going on in this episode.
Really, yeah, I feel like you're making this show a little more efficient. I really appreciate it. So yeah, let's get right into it. I have a question. I don't know if you feel the same, but I kind of wonder, like, now that they know it's a time travel suit, like, why everyone keeps calling it the Red Angel? Because it's like, I feel like, you know, scientifically, actually after Section 31, I can't imagine they called it Project Daedalus. They didn't call it the Red Angel, so for them it would have been the D, right? So like, why aren't we?
If they call it like the exosuit, that's not as dramatic as the Red Angel.
I know, but Daedalus suit, or they could just call the person the time traveler now. You know, like
if you've been calling something the Red Angel for, we don't know how long season 2 has been going on, but let's assume that it has been like, I don't know, a month and a half. Right. I think is what I concluded last time I was trying to figure this out. If you've been calling something like for the last 6 or 7 weeks the Red Angel, that's kind of a hard habit to break at that point. It's just been christened the Red Angel.
That's fair, but I still think that that it would have been cool if someone, maybe that's what Ariam would have done, and now she's dead. So someone would have just mentioned, like, we shouldn't call it the Red Angel anymore. Especially
in the era of social media, when you want maybe hashtag Red Angel to be a thing. that was going around for a little bit. Hashtag Who's the Red Angel?
Who's the Red Angel? I think I did that. I was guilty of that too. Yeah.
But now we know.
I think I did. What is the Red Angel? So about that for a second. I like that it was the mom, because the grandfather paradox idea I was a little upset about, because it doesn't really work. Because if you do kill Michael Burnham, it erases the future self, so the future self can't really come back and save you. So I didn't understand that part.
Yeah, but they do play fast and loose with time travel in Star Trek sometimes.
It's true, but still, like, you wouldn't.
This does work better.
Like, the only way grandfather paradox works only if you're in the past, right? Because then you exist. Future self goes back to the past, kills your grandfather, but you stay alive because you were still born, but now you're out of time, right? Yeah. But it can't work if the Red Angel's from the future, which is what we think, because it has to know that Michael died, right? It wouldn't have been able to. So I think it's good that it's mom, because I would have been really upset. I would have been like, that doesn't make sense. Like, how can Michael Burnham save herself from the future if I mean, she wouldn't exist to begin with, so it makes sense.
I mean, sometimes you need Peter Capaldi to explain it while playing Beethoven on his guitar. But
that was
there's a Doctor Who reference for you.
That was a very good reference. Well, this whole season deals with time travel, so I feel like that's all we need to complete it would be a cameo from the Doctor, and it would be like just deliciously great. He's the one who actually sets things right and puts a time travel ban. He's like, sorry, Time Lords say you can't do this.
What Doctor talks like that? Which one would be the one to show up and do that?
I feel that would be classic Doctor. Probably the 7th Doctor would be the one who would do that. But I would want it to be Matt Smith playing the reviving his role as the 11th on a cameo.
Did you did you read the Next Generation 11th Doctor crossover comic?
Yes. I actually did, and I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, if anyone listening to us likes Doctor Who as well as Star Trek, and you haven't checked out that comic book, you totally should.
You should. That's a shout out to surprise.
It's called a Assimilation Squared, and it has beautiful painted artwork by J.K. Woodward, who's pretty cool. I met him on
Oh,
the Star
nice.
Trek
Yeah.
cruise. Cool guy.
Wait, on the Star Trek.
On the Star Trek cruise that I went on, not this year, but
Wait, I forgot you went on the Star Trek cruise.
yeah, I went on the second one they did.
How was it? Would you go again?
Yeah, I actually wanted to go to the one coming up in January, but they've already booked up the entire thing. So I guess I'm going in 2021.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was the best vacation me or my girlfriend, either one of us, had ever been on.
How long is the cruise?
Like a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay, I better
and
start saving
they
my pennies.
depart. Yeah, they depart from Miami, so it'd be
Oh,
convenient
that's
for
super
you to
easy. I
go.
wouldn't have to take a flight.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
drive down to Miami and you're good to go.
I mean, it's drive up to Miami from where I am, but yeah,
Or
totally
wherever.
very easy.
I thought Miami was like the southern tip of
Miami.
Florida.
Close. It's definitely in the south, the southern part of it, but I'm closer to the tip
Okay.
where I live, which is called Homestead, Florida, and then that's the continental of the U.S. But then we have the islands called Keys, which I guess it's still considered part of the continental U.S. Key West is the southernmost point in the United States of America. Officially, there's a
Further south than Hawaii? That doesn't sound right.
That's correct.
Oh,
Go.
wow.
There's a gigantic marker that says southernmost point of the United States of America. But I think Hawaii is just a little bit further north, and it makes sense because it looks on a map. It looks like it's a little further north than we are. But we digress.
Yeah, enough about the geography. We got a red angel to talk about.
I guess what's like the most compelling thing that you learned from this episode, and what are you kind of how satisfied do you feel with like the reveal, etc.?
I loved the reveal. In fact, I wasn't really digging this episode. I was pretty frustrated while watching it, but the reveal at the end did make me feel a lot better about things. Just everything with Michael being the Red Angel, I hated that, and I'm so glad that that turned out to be a red herring. I thought that would be the easiest, most predictable thing they could have done. So I'm glad they pulled the rug out from under us. And there were some, like, I have some problems with this episode that we'll get into if you want, but I liked a lot of the character moments. I liked the Dr. Colbert stuff. I liked it was good that we got to see Ariam's funeral. Um, and I liked everything Sonequa Martin Green was doing when she learns that Leyland is responsible for killing her parents. Her conversation with Spock, her agony when she's being tortured, even though I thought that was way over the top and melodramatic. I loved her performance of it, and some of the stuff with her and Ash Tyler I thought was really good. So she was definitely the standout actor of the episode. But yeah, those are the things that I found compelling, that I liked. Are you still there? Um, word. So I don't know. I don't know if anyone watching this is gonna have me on screen or Starfleet Boy or what's going on here, or if he can hear me, or maybe no one can hear either. Da, 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 da. So it sounds like Starfleet Boy has lost his internet connection and is temporarily down. I'm not sure what will be the case with this video if he's going to still use any of. Oh, look, I think he's back. So, hello, can you hear me? I think he might have been. Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Are you there? Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh my god, that was the weirdest thing. Section 31 does not want us to talk about this.
So
they're like causing
for
interference.
a long time there, when I was waiting on you to come back, I was just like silent because I didn't have anyone to talk to.
That's okay. It happens.
So
well,
if you want to use that, you can just like I guess you could put up like a little link to like skip ahead.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh yeah.
Or just download the whole thing and edit that
and cut out. Yeah, it's probably what I'll do.
Did you hear what I was saying?
So it totally cut out when you were talking about how initially you were bored and kind of disappointed with this episode, and then that's all I heard.
You didn't hear me? All the good stuff I said?
No, the good thing with the audio audience will have it all because you like totally are recording your audio separately, so that's good. The podcast audience will have the best of that, but for the YouTube audience, I have no idea if you're stayed on or if I have no idea what the outcome's going to be.
Mine stayed on, I think. So I think we should just risk it probably being there. Like,
so hot take real quick to not repeat yourself fully, but why I guess the question I have is why were you kind of hating the idea that Burnham was the Red Angel? The big question.
Because they already make her the most prominent character in a lot of ways, and they focus on her a lot, which I don't mind. I get that that's kind of the point of the show. She's the main character. However, there were so many cool possibilities with the Red Angel, and to just make it be a future version of her, I felt that was one of the most commonly predicted things. So it was like super easy to guess at. The way that they presented it with Tilly just walking into a meeting in the ready room and just saying, oh, by the way, Michael's the Red Angel. I thought that was not very dramatic and not very satisfying.
It also was kind of weird because they were so certain the biosignature was hers, but apparently,
they didn't explain
I guess
that.
Could your is that right? Like, can your mom's biosignature be that like so indistinguishable from yours? Though
there's a couple of things. There's a couple of ways they can get around that. They could maybe at some point Michael Burnham does put on the suit, and that's the readings they're getting. Maybe they just
that's true. That's a good point.
Maybe they just hand wave it as well. There is some tachyon radiation interfering with the readings, and because of that, the computer couldn't distinguish the Red Angel's bioneural readings from those of Michael Burnham, so it came up with a false match.
Fair enough. So you were saying that you didn't like the episode. Did you like the Culber kind of revelation happened in this episode?
That was one of the things I said that I really liked. It was a lot of the character stuff. Like I loved what they were doing with Culber. Also, I loved Sonequa Martin Green's performances. I loved seeing her when she learns that Leyland killed her parents, when she has that conversation with Spock, all the stuff with her and Ash Tyler. I liked all of that. But yeah, the Dr. Culber stuff, I really dug, and I'm hoping that they're setting the stage for him and Stamets to reunite. Do you think that's what's going to happen?
I think so. I do agree with Kowalski a little bit that it's a little bit too CW right now, because like Stamets was definitely like pining to get back with Culber and was like very conscious and like trying to give him his space. But then now finally Culber starts reaching out, and then he's like, this is not the time. Okay, fair. But then he's like, it may never be the time. Like, man, like
he doesn't say that, does he?
He does. He goes, it may never be the time. He says it to him, and it's like heartbreaking because it's like, you know, it's a little heartbreaking and it's a little melodramatic, which don't get me wrong. I mean, that's like, it gets you going, right? But at the same time, I was like, no, come on. Like,
I don't think
it
they've
just seemed
crossed
a
the line
little.
yet where they've drawn it out too long. But
Yeah, I agree. Enjoying it for sure.
I don't want it to become a will they, won't they. And one of the things I brought up in my podcast at some point is I did actually compare it to, I used the CW show The Flash as an example.
Right.
If anyone watches that, with Barry and Iris, and oh,
That went
they're,
on for like what, 3
I
seasons?
don't know. Yeah, I've only
Still,
watched like the
it's
first
still going on.
only watched the first 3 years of that show, but yeah, like they got together, then they broke up, and they got engaged, and they got unengaged, and then I think they maybe got married. I don't know.
It's true. It gets a little tiresome after a while.
It's
But
an
no, I don't
easy
think
way to
they'll
write
drag it
drama.
out. It's true.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah.
but on the most recent Text Trek podcast, available now.
Oh, nice.
Um, our guest Anna, who had joined us one time previously, her interpretation is she doesn't think that they are going to get back together, and that Colbert kind of seemed uninterested when he was talking to Admiral Cornwell. I didn't read it that way, but she has a different opinion on it. That if you check out our podcast, you can see what she has to say about that, and maybe people will agree with me, maybe they'll agree with her, maybe we're both wrong. I don't know.
Who knows? We'll find out. I did like that Admiral Kulberg. They kind of reminded us of her background as a psychiatrist,
Psychiatrist,
and
yeah.
yeah, and I liked on Twitter that Marina Sirtis tweeted that if Admiral darn, whatever, I just said her name.
Admiral Cornwell.
Thank you, Admiral Cornwell. Advice from a counselor that she'd be happy to give it, and then Jane Brooks responded with like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome," or something like that. So that was a cool real life tie-in. There was also I guess another comment for me is, are you buying Emperor Giorgio's sincerity here? Like, do you think that she is interested in Michael? And then if so, I don't think the show's really kind of answered what is her interest in Michael. Like, is it what do you think's going on there?
Yeah, I'm still suspicious of her concern and affection for Michael Burnham. Me personally, I don't want to see this character easily forgiven after she was a racist, xenophobic, fascist dictator emperor, who brags still in these recent episodes, still brags about genociding entire planets, killing all the Telosians.
The Klingons, decimating the Klingons, basically, right? It's
Yeah,
like...
I kind of don't want to see this character forgiven at all. But if they do try to do any type of redemption with her, it's going to be very difficult to pull off. And I don't know, like I kind of would need them to like kill her off in the end, like Darth Vader style, and maybe
But we
only
know
then
that's
would
not
I
going
forgive
to
her.
happen. You mean at the end of the Section 31 show? Because we're going
Yeah,
in that direction. Like, that's, which basically actually this season, Section 31 show, because they've been present in the season. And I wanted to ask you about that too. So there's definitely this like whole between before they kiss and make out, the Ash Tyler Burnham, the whole Starfleet versus Section 31 thing. Like, I don't see how I just don't understand where they're. It's okay to me that Section 31 is not what we expected, in the sense that it's not like a buried underground, operation. That's fine with me, because I think that like it's fine. Like, I think that like Section 31 can evolve certainly into what it's going to be, right? And everything. But what I don't understand is like why there's so much of a battle between Section 31 and Starfleet constantly. Like, I don't actually see like, Section 31 being at fault for the things that are going on.
you
Like,
know that
like,
you and I, not to get too political, but you and I are
yeah,
both in a country where our traditional military has been supplying like one group of fighters in Syria, and then our Section 31 type CIA has been actually building up another group of fighters, and so like our tax dollars are going to basically have two different groups fight each other in another country.
Well put.
I don't see it as that unusual that there's like a conflict between your CIA type group and then like your traditional military type group. I think stuff like that happens in the Pentagon and in real life. So but I do think that the conflict we are experiencing between them will eventually explain why Section 31 retreats back into the shadows and becomes what we are familiar with from DS9 and Enterprise and all the rest of their depictions.
Going further into that, like the another big reveal is that Burnham's parents were not what they said. So actually Section 31 operatives. How do you feel about that? And what do you
That reminded me of the Spider-Man comics when they revealed that Peter Parker's birth parents were actually agents of Shield.
Right. It does
So
actually.
it's like the exact same
exactly.
thing. Yeah,
it's true.
it was kind of cool that.
But how do you feel about it? Do you think it's cool?
That her mom was an astrophysicist and her dad was what is it, xenoanthropologist?
Anthropologist, which is what I think Burnham is, right? Yeah.
So the way that he said that they had seen examples of technological leaps and thought that that was a sign of time travel. It was like, oh yeah, like a xenoanthropologist would be the person who might notice stuff like that. And if he's married to an astrophysicist, she might be the one who is trying to build their time machine and the temporal Cold War temporal arms race with the Klingons. Not temporal Cold War, that was Enterprise.
But they do call it a temporal
arms race.
Arms race, which is interesting.
It could be tied to that.
Yeah.
Because we know that the Suliban were messing around with the Klingons also. So the Klingons might have been like, oh, look, there's time travel technology. We need to like build up our empire with time travel tech.
I was really hoping Captain Archer was going to be in the time suit.
Yeah, I had my theory. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but I thought that if the Red Angel was Archer, he needed to like take off the helmet and reveal it was him, and just say, "It's been a long road."
Or oh boy, right?
Isn't oh boy, yeah, either one. I was hoping it'd be Morn or Neelix, one or the other.
Or some people were hoping that it was Admiral Archer's dog.
Yeah, the one from the Kelvin universe after Kelvin and Scotty beamed the dog into who knows where.
The initial time travel event took place during the attack and supernova, so I hope we get a flashback to what actually happened on Daktari. Was it
Daktari Alpha?
Oh, Daktari Alpha. Thank you.
Because it sounds star, I believe.
So it sounds like the Klingons came to get their time crystal back, and like something's gonna happen. Obviously, like Burnham's hidden and she doesn't know what's going on. So it sounds like the mom decides, well, I need to like get the heck out of here. So she takes the suit and actually uses it to go into the future at some point. So it'll be interesting, and I'm sure we'll get that explanation, and I hope we get a cool flashback. But what do you think? Speculations on Burnham's dad? Did he do you think he made time for her to escape and died, or do you think there's something yet to be revealed about the dad as well?
I hadn't actually speculated on that too much. Yeah, so that could have been the thing, is like the dad was like, I'll fight the Klingons off for a little bit so you can get away. But you would think he'd be like, but you should take our daughter with you, who's hiding in this closet over here. So it could have been,
maybe the plan was maybe the people, as she would travel back and warn them, but then it went wrong. Like she actually ended way in the future. You know what I mean? Like maybe the plan was just to go back maybe like 10 hours, or something like that. and it failed. The suit didn't work properly or something like that, and she got launched into the future.
The way that they explain the time travel is kind of like a yo-yo, where it has like a rubber band that pulls you back, so you can leap to a point in time and space, but then you have to be like snapped back to where you were. So
That's true.
that makes me wonder, well, where is she? Is she
Yeah.
back in the past? Is she even further in the future?
Well, I think she has to be in the future only because she wouldn't have learned about Michael's death in that chamber unless she was in the
Yeah.
future. Like,
Or Spock mind melded with her, and that's how he learned about the destruction of the galaxy. So
so it
we have that stuff
had to
also.
have been in the future.
So maybe
So
she still dies on Docturi Alpha. Maybe at the end of all her time traveling, she has to go back and die.
oh, wow. That kind of got me right there. That could be true because or the other thing is that maybe the Red Angel plot doesn't get resolved fully this season. Like maybe she escapes, and the whole end of the show could be like Burnham having her parents back, and then and then the timeline being reset, so to speak,
So the
so that
timeline's
like
already set. This is the timeline of the original series and Next Generation and everything else.
well, it changes then, and then and then you have a Burnham who grows
I
up with
don't
actual
I
parents.
don't need an explanation for why the Klingons look different or why they were using holograms as much as they were. Like I don't want them to mess with the timeline to explain that stuff. Come up with a reason like in the story to explain why things look a little
We'll see
different
what happens.
sometimes.
I'm already messing with time travel that the explanation's already there. It's like, to me it's very like Star Trek Discovery. I think that you can have both. You can have your cake and eat it too. Is what I guess I'm trying to say. Like you can still have a valid show that takes place in a time bubble.
I don't
That's a
want
perfectly
that
legitimate Star Trek
devalues it
show.
though. Like I'm less
I
interested
don't think
if
it does.
this isn't the
I
same
think it's less
timeline.
devaluing. It's less devaluing than what happened to Enterprise.
Like
Like to me. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know what'll happen. It's an interesting thing because to me, a lot of things like necessarily the visuals are important per se. Like I don't mind the updated look and feel, or even the holograms. I kind of can see many reasons why Starfleet would move away from holograms, or like just up in that technology, or some other reasons like they've already like dropped the hint about the security flaw or whatever, and like we
yeah.
have this whole AI thing coming through, which could also explain yet like we regress, kind of like maybe they're like, okay, we need to like much like the Battlestar Galactica, it survived this like Holocaust because the ship was self-contained and didn't have a network connection to the mainframe, right? So it couldn't be infected by the Cylon virus that disabled all the other defenses. So I could totally see next, I totally already see Discovery some really cool possible explanations for why TOS feels different, and so I already see that Larry's on that path. I'm saying I'm open to any possibility, but like but like I just think it'd be tragic to I like the main thing, that the reason why I think there's going to be some kind of explanation, or Burnham's going to get her other life back, so to speak, is that the whole fact that this was not like Burnham's existence is kind of like one of those things in the Sarek family, is kind of like one of those things where you're like, she wasn't just an exchange student, that like hung out for a little while and that Spock could easily forget. Like there's a validity in the question of why doesn't Spock ever mention her, even more than Cybok, because at least with Cybok, like we know he like left the family and went off and baby, right? But and like maybe like that, so that kind of like he wasn't like a part of Spock's life, but Burnham was clearly a big part of Spock's life, and it also continues to be now in they're reunited and they're like reconciling, and so like it just doesn't make sense that, you know, Spock would just forget about his sister.
Why do you think he forgets about her though?
So that's my thing, is that like if for some, like to me, like if I
I
were
mean,
Spock,
no, I'm
if
saying
I were
like
Spock,
why? Let me rephrase that. Like,
okay.
why do you think that Spock has forgotten his sister? What indicates to you that the Spock we see in the original series and the movies and the Next Generation, going back in time in Star Trek '09, like what makes you think that guy does not remember Michael Burnham being his sister?
I mean, actually nothing,
Like,
because
there's
because
an episode of the
Spock.
original. Let me throw this out there real quick. There's an episode of the original
Okay.
series, Operation Annihilate, with like the fried eggs that are attacking people on the colony,
That's
and Captain Kirk's brother was there, and his family was there,
George
and
Kirk, right? Yeah.
yeah, and so his brother and his nephew and everything, and they're not mentioned after that episode. So let's say that episode was like deleted from the Star Trek canon. Let's say it like never existed. Sorry. Let's say that episode never existed to begin with, and then someone went back and did that story as a prequel. You'd have people who are like, well, why does Captain Kirk have a brother? He never had a brother before. He never mentions a brother and all this stuff. Like that doesn't work. Like you're breaking the timeline.
That's a really good.
It's like no,
That's a very fair point.
yeah, it's fine. Like no one ever asks Spock like, hey, did you ever have a sister? So I don't really see it breaking continuity. You know, like Cisco had a sister that they never talked about until they did talk about her.
That's true. I guess that's a fair point. That's a really fair point. I have to just let go of my expectations here. Like I have to kind of like pair.
And I would be frustrated if they did something like to erase her from his mind or something, because the producers have hinted at like this will explain why Spock doesn't mention her later, and I'm like, I don't need that explained.
Yeah, it's fair. That's a good fair point. Like it's almost the opposite of the explanation. Almost would be like, you're right. I never thought of it that way. Huh. Good. Moving on. The plan and the whole thing about so on the third watching, it came to, you know, the whole scene where Burnham's dying is like it's beautifully acted. First of all, it's horrifying. It's like you really feel like the pain and stuff like that, and Sonequa Martin Green's really good at like
So good at
doing
that.
Like when she does that crazy scream in the you know, in the episode where she gets stabbed, like it was the first episode, right?
Or even like the first episode of season 1 when she's fighting Voke on the Klingon ship.
That's right.
She's like screaming there.
So beautiful acting. But let me ask you, couldn't they have just done like a lethal injection, like actually killed her?
Like I get that they wanted something dramatic, but this is too extra. Like it was melodramatic in a bad way.
It was,
like
it
the
was
acid
horrifying.
rain. It's like you don't
like her skin was.
It looked like they were like gonna torture her to death. Like it was like
she's like a sadist. She's a total sadist, and they're all watching this from like everyone's watching. She's like fascinated. She's like she forgets herself.
I have problems with that, and also you would think that, you know, if they were assuming that Michael was in fact the Red Angel, like won't she remember this experience? Like how is this going to like the future?
I know it's like it's such a like traumatic experience. Like wouldn't she remember that like she set herself up to die and like come back sooner before the torture and like just stop herself? You know, I don't know. It's like maybe try to thwart the plan instead, or break the equipment. You know, like
I came up with a better. What I would consider to be a better story where they could have done like the same stuff, but just like a better way to go about it. But I won't go into the details of that here. But if anyone wants to check that out, just check out
Is it on your?
Yeah, the most recent Text Trek podcast in which I described.
Oh, awesome!
So it'd be Text Trek number 62, where we talk all about this episode of the Red Angel.
Got it. Quick overview though, like the gist of it.
It's better than what the writers actually did here. That's all I'll say.
Okay, now Audience, I haven't heard it, but audience, you can pause here, go and listen, come back, and well, we can't talk about it because I haven't heard it yet. So I'm dying to see this. So I will also pause and go listen to it and come back. Hey, wow, what a great idea. I prefer that.
Well, thank you. Starfleet boy
No,
approved.
I really do think that, like, yeah, when I was thinking about it, I actually thought about TNG, and I thought about, like, you know, in TNG, if this was Mario, they would have totally lethal injection would have accomplished the same, except without the dramatic skin burning and like that and the, you know, like really painful death.
But the show always tries
Okay,
to go in the most dramatic direction possible, and sometimes it works very well, and sometimes it falls flat. And to me, here it fell a little flat.
like the last thing we need to talk about, other than like minor little moments here and there, is what's up with the Section 31 ship at the end when Leland's trying to override the buffers, and like what's going on there? I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking that that is the control AI resurfacing, like they said that it might. It's hard to tell exactly what happens to Leyland after he falls to the floor after getting his eye stabbed in that viewfinder. His eye, it looks like it kind of like rebuilds itself.
It,
It
yeah, I
grows.
did see that. Yeah, so like maybe the AI can infect human minds as well, which is pretty creepy. Like you
Maybe
have
it
a
has
bunch
like
of like,
nanotechnology now.
oh yeah, but what else do that? What else stabs you and then assimilates you into its matrix? Fascinating. I don't think that the origins of the Borg are going to be somehow explained, but it could be the Borg actually doing this. Do you think that's plausible?
It is possible. I don't know if I'd say plausible, but maybe I'm splitting the hair
In the
there.
realm of, yeah,
But
well, no, maybe more in the realm of possibility because it could.
it could what? So apparently, Starfleet boy, I think he had his eye too close to the camera, and it just like stabbed
did,
him with a little needle. You want
did I
to
go away?
wait? Yeah, I think
I was
you've
just
been
saying.
infected like Leyland.
I was. I want the three dots to appear whenever I
Here in
get.
your eyes.
I want them to appear. No, I guess what I was saying is like, I don't think it's like, you're right. I don't think it's likely. It's possible, but not plausible because the future scenes don't look anything like like what we consider the Borg,
They
right?
weren't cubes or spheres. Um,
Not even spheres. They were like these, you know, things,
Cylinders.
still phallic
They're,
looking things.
they're
They're
the Doomsday Machine
like...
original series. No,
exactly.
I don't want to see the Borg, and I don't think they would do that. I kind of want Discovery to be kind of hands off from the Borg, and they don't often bring things in from other shows except TOS occasionally with Pike, Spock, number one. Other than that, though, they don't really. They might like have like a little nod to, like Captain Archer went to Kronos one time, or like, oh, here's like a TNG style comm badge that you know tap on, and every now and then they will kind of have like a little tip of the hat at other Trek shows, but they don't really borrow big important things other than the TOS characters they've used.
Fair.
Borg are probably
All
not going
right.
to show up.
So the we'll probably find out a lot of the time traveler next episode, who is Burnham's mom. We'll probably get some really interesting reveals. It looks like Burnham is like blow the whole goddamn place. So maybe something we find out is not sitting right with Burnham, regarding her parents, who they really were. You know, we'll find out. which will
Yeah,
be interesting.
the
Like,
next episode we're gonna get a lot of details on her parents. I think just the fact that her mom is there and is going to be talking to them. So we should get like a whole lot of backstory stuff, a whole lot of Red Angel explanation. Why is she doing this stuff? Why did we see her on Kaminar and with like this World War III church and all of this stuff? I think we're gonna get answers on that. We're gonna get like some big emotional payoffs with Michael reconnecting with her human mother that she has not seen since childhood.
interesting. And now she's a time refugee. She can't go back to where she was from
Yeah, they're
because
holding her. They're
we
holding her hostage.
they're holding her hostage. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the master plan she had to stop, if that was her in the first place, was to stop the AI from gaining a hold and evolving faster than it might have. Cool. The only other thing I have in my notes is that it was cool to see Arium 1.0
Oh yeah,
come
Lieutenant
to the
Nilsson.
bridge. Yeah, who played Arium in season 1, oddly enough, and now she's back on the bridge.
Yeah, what were the names of the actresses? He had is it Heather Cheeseman was the one who
Hannah
died?
Cheeseman,
Anna.
yeah, Hannah Cheeseman, right?
And then who's the other one?
I knew her name, but I can't remember it at this moment, so you'll have to look it up. But Lieutenant Nilsson, oh gosh, do you have it? Do you have it, Father?
I'll have it momentarily. Lieutenant Nilsson is played by, I should know because I follow her on Twitter. Um, Played by Sarah Mitch.
Sarah Mitch, that's right.
Yeah, she's a Croatian Canadian who
Oh,
goes to country music bars in the Toronto area. I know this because I follow her on Twitter.
fascinating. I keep telling Sean that he needs to move to Toronto because it seems like that's where all the action. If he wants to get on Star Trek, that's where all
Yeah,
the action is.
he told me that he has to live in Quebec because his wife wants to live somewhere where they speak French.
That's true. So it's
I
fine.
told him
But I mean,
to go to the West Coast to Vancouver. The weather's a lot nicer.
Quebec Quebec has a affiliate as well, though. So who knows? There could be future seasons where, especially if they want to film in Paris. I hear Quebec is a good. Sorry, Montreal is a good substitute for Paris, apparently. So they often use it. The Highlander TV series was filmed in Montreal,
I did
and
not
it
know
took
that.
place in
Yeah,
France. Yeah,
like
in
when they have
Paris.
like
So yeah,
flashbacks and stuff to like old
yeah,
France.
yeah.
Huh.
Old France, and that was all Montreal. Yep.
Interesting.
D- Duncan MacLeod. Another show, another time. Well, we're we could do a Highlander retrospective on Starfleet Boy. Uh,
So
um,
today we covered Highlander, we covered Spider-Man comics,
I
Flash
know
on the
we're all over the
CW.
place.
Yeah,
Well done. The only thing it would be cool if Star Trek Zeist in one of its like the planet Zeist is like somewhere in Federation space. That would be pretty cool. Reference to Highlander 2. You know that, right? Have you seen
yeah.
Highlander 2?
That, um, I'd completely forgotten that was a thing. But yeah, where Highlander went super sci-fi for a moment there. I get lost in
All
time.
right, so I think it's time to give our ratings. I'll go first. I think that overall, this episode for me was very good. It was entertaining. There were a lot of, especially I like you was really kind of surprised and also pleased with Mother Burnham. We joked about this on Starfleet Boy earlier. We were thinking that like Burnham herself would come back, like Michael herself would come back, but that she would be known as Mother Burnham, like so, like the mother of the galaxy. But
We have
it
Laurel as
actually
the
ended up
mother of
being
Klingons, so
right. It's true. So it actually ended up being true, but in the literal sense that it is Burnham's mother, so it is Mother
yeah. I
Burnham.
like Mama
Uh,
Burnham. I'm gonna
Mama
call her
Burnham,
Mama
yeah. I like Mama Burnham too. It's very that's much more cozy. It's true. Um, so I like that. I really enjoyed a lot of the exposition in this episode. I don't know. Something I didn't talk about. There are moments that I definitely disagree. I don't think I think Burnham should be past clocking people, or like knocking people out. Like I think she should be past this kind of violence and like
I like that.
like
Really,
I know
if
it was
someone told you to
satisfying
kill
as
your if someone is like, "Oh yeah, like it's my fault, your mom's dead," like you wouldn't want to hit them in the face.
yeah, but like hitting someone in the nose, you could actually kill them. Like she
That
could have
I
actually
know,
like
but
broken.
that is like the one of the most appropriate times to hit someone in the face is if they're like responsible for the death of a loved one.
I guess it's true. I guess it's
What
true. I
would be
don't
like
know.
what's like a more infuriating thing you can do to someone than
That's
kill the
true.
people they love?
I'm not saying that it wasn't appropriate. I'm just saying I wish I wish Burnham could have had a different reaction because she's always fun. She's always getting herself in trouble. Like I'm tired of Burnham being in trouble all the
Very
time.
well behaved this season. I mean, yeah, like
It's
she
true.
ran from Section 31, but like the whole Discovery was on her side. So
That's true. I agree. No, and don't get me wrong. I love Burnham. I just was like, oh, please don't put Burnham in the brig. Come on, let's keep her safe. Although she was the reason they couldn't do anything. They needed her. I get it. So, but I like that. We didn't talk,
we didn't talk what? Lost you there. He's getting stabbed in
but
the
I
eye.
really like the scene. There were other moments like in
Hold on, you cut
sickbay
out.
when they're. Oh, hello.
Yeah, you said we didn't talk about what?
Oh, we didn't really talk about that scene in detail, but the scene between Spock and Burnham was nice. Like I really liked the exposition in that scene.
Yes, and I love everything about Ethan Peck Spock. I think he is so awesome as this character, and I would love to see more of him after this season. If there's any possible way they can do that, or if they make like the Pike Enterprise show that some fans have like
Everyone.
theorized, like if you can get more of this guy as Spock, and I thought I wouldn't like it that much. I was
Yeah,
glad they took a while to build up to him because I was like, I'm not in a hurry to see Spock. I don't want them to like do anything too weird with like the most iconic Star Trek character ever. Then when I actually see
agreed.
him, I'm like, oh my god, he's so good.
He is so good. In fact, he inspired my new my look here
Spock beard.
today. Like I got the Spock beard going on. You can't see my Vulcan ears because they're covered by my phone. So that was good. And in general, like even though if you guys go and check out Kowalski's video, I do find myself like thinking about a lot of the points that he makes in it, and he definitely didn't seem to enjoy this episode at all, and was kind of, I think his video shows that, but at the same time I do see his points, and I think audience, you should go check it out too. But I didn't much. I agree, but in general, I like that he's kind of like normalizing, and I do like that the way kind of sometimes just like a simple piece of advice can actually change your whole perspective. And I think when Admiral Cornwell says basically that like it's a choice, love is a choice every single day, and that kind of like gets him thinking and gets him to come around. I like that. I do hope that they don't play this thing out too long. I hope that they do reconcile like maybe next episode, like and then move forward again as the couple that we've come to enjoy.
Yeah,
So overall, though, I have to say that even though the ending was so exciting and everything, this is like my lowest rated episode of Star Trek Discovery. I'm going to give it an 8.5 this season. I don't know if I gave
very
any.
low for you.
Yeah, that's super low because it's been hitting tens and nines.
I
So 8.5
Yeah.
is my rating.
So is that all you got?
Yeah, that's all
Okay.
I got.
So I had a lot of problems with this episode too, and I feel like we spent a lot of time talking about like the good things. So I'll just real quickly list off some of the problems I had, and a lot of that was just a problem I have with the show in general is that it doesn't take time to breathe. It's always too eager to move along with this high energy, fast pace, just boom, boom, boom. Never like take the time between like the big moments to hash things out. If have like conversations around a table in the conference room, next generation style, and talk about how did we learn the Red Angel, or how did we learn that the control AI is from the future? Why do we want to capture the Red Angel? Oh, so we need to go to this planet and do this. What? Okay, there's a danger of that. Like they don't have those conversations where you have like conflicting uh, ideas where Worf thinks this is a good idea, but Geordi is like, oh no, the technology needs to be like this, and then Riker is like, well, I think it'd be good if we did this. They don't really have those slower moments. The show doesn't stop to breathe, and I think it was super apparent in this episode. They could have benefited from some of that type of stuff. They don't even tell us how they learned that the control AI is from the future, and when they decide that this bioneural scan shows that the Red Angel is Michael Burnham. Immediately after that, Giorgio and Leyland happen to show up and give like more explanation, and it's just it doesn't feel natural and organic. It feels like writers trying to connect plot point to plot point to plot point, and you get like really contrived things sometimes that don't work. And I loved what they did with the reveal at the end. I love the character moments, Spock and Michael and Tyler, Culber and the Admiral, Culber and Stamets. But the super cringy scene that I had that's gonna like keep me from giving this any higher of a rating than what I'm giving it is when Giorgio was flirting with Culber and Stamets. Oh my god,
I forgot about it. I didn't even remember
that
that.
was so
That was a little
and clunky,
yeah,
and unnatural.
It was a little extra. It's true. That's true. I even blocked it out. Thanks for reminding me.
Are we supposed to think that like everyone in the mirror universe is a pansexual?
A pansexual, yeah.
Like apparently, like pansexuality is like really evil. So like the evil universe, that's what everyone does. And to me, I'm curious if you have an opinion on this. But to me,
I do. I think the way TNG and even TOS kind of handles it, where it's just not even talked about, it's a non-issue. Like it's clear that Riker is pansexual, but he doesn't.
Is he?
Like,
does he? When does he like? When does he like boys?
No,
when does that ever happen?
No, well, that's the thing. Is like that.
This is just in your head canon.
Yeah, it is. But he has that gender neutral planet, and like I know she like that they end identifying as female, and that's why like that attraction was strong. So I'm just joking, but I'm saying like I guess what I'm trying to say is like Star Trek always depicted like an advanced notion of sexuality, but that it would also like it would also like take into account that like most people are going to be or homosexual period, right? And that there would be a few people that are homosexual, just like it is now. Like it's not going to change. Like not everyone's going to be homosexual in the future, or pansexual, or bisexual. It's just not going to happen, So I feel like, yeah, you're right. As it in an odd way that Discovery kind of wears its sexuality on the sleeve, and I do think that's great. One pointed out that Trek Discovery is the entry point. Seen every Star Trek series are like, well, Star Trek already dealt with this, right? But I do think it is important to reiterate these things for new fans, because it is an important thing about Star Trek. But that scene was just awkward. It was just like a weird scene.
I think it's cool that like we finally have gay men in Star Trek, because that had like never been a thing. And then it's weird to me to tell the gay boys that in like, oh no, like the other universe, like you still like girls, so it's like you can't. It's like, to me, like it feels like you can't even let like the gay men be gay men.
Right. No, it's true. And well, I like that. I mean, I do kind of like that. Stamets says, as far as I can tell, here and in any other universe, I'm gay. Like, just
do you find that relatable? Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I actually I get the question. When you get close to people, they like start asking you questions about your sexuality. It's just a natural thing, and I often like, how gay are you? Like, is there any exception like to your gayness?
Like a scale of like 1 to 10.
Yeah, And I get that. Like, I think especially for someone who is meeting or like interacting with a gay person for the first time, it's kind of hard to like establish that. But I also think it's a fair question because Kinsey showed that like, you know, it's more of a scale, right? Like it's like scale. So I always am 500% gay. So if you want to, like, if you want to, like,
I was gonna say like maybe like 11 out of 10, but like no, like you're at 50.
I'm
So
so like, as if you interested in me, you'd have to chip away at 500% just to get me at 100%, and then you'd have to chip away at that to get me to like be a little bit straight for you. So no, I apologize, ladies who might be interested, but I am 500% gay. So that means here and in any other universe in the multiverse, I am probably also gay.
but yeah, so keeping that terrible scene in mind, I give this episode a 5 out of 5. It's not totally.
Wow.
It's not. I mean, not a 5 out of 5. A 5 out of 10. It's not totally bad, but it's not particularly good either. Like it's probably my least favorite episode of this season, and possibly of all of Discovery.
It's a tough one because it has like a really moment at the end, right? Like it's a pretty powerful moment, but I do think but as an exposition episode, like I do think it does its job well, and that's why I gave it an 8, and probably why you gave it a 5. Like it does its job, but it doesn't really go, like it could have gone somewhere else, and it would have been more, I think, impactful. I like the idea that I would have loved the idea because there is a conference room scene in this episode, but it like lived 30 seconds, and you know, like it could have been a lot longer and stuff like that. I do want to mention that I know that the show is filmed in Toronto, but it looked like the conference table had this like rough wood like thing. Did you notice that it was like kind of broken wood?
Yeah, I noticed that a few episodes ago.
I wonder because there's an artist in Seattle that, and I'm like, oh my god, is it that artist? I would love to know if anyone from CBS who's involved with the production is listening. Where'd you get that cool conference table? Because it looked like something I've seen in sure.
Yeah, I would be curious to learn more about it. But so what do we
All
have?
right.
8.5 and a 5.
Yes.
What does that average out to?
I'd say it's fair to say 7, 6.5,
it's like 6.75 or 6. Yeah, I think
so
7.
6 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's fair. 7's fair. That's not bad. Star Trek Discovery overall is still holding its higher than last season ratings for this season, and I am looking forward to the next episode. How many episodes do we have left? 4.
Yes, yeah. This was episode 10 of 14, so 4 to go.
I know that like I know that it's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Enterprise will not appear again, but I'm really hoping that the Enterprise does come in at the last minute.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that.
It's just too good, right? It's just too good. All right, Father. I think we'll spare the audience any further discussion and end the show right here. Thank you for joining us, audience. If you want to check out Fathery's content, please go to his YouTube channel, Text Trek, and also check out the audio only podcast that is up today. It's live now. I'm going to also publish this episode, so if you're watching this, that, which is what I'm going to go listen to next while I have a cup of tea because I've been under the weather. And I look forward to seeing you hopefully next week. And everyone live long and prosper, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.